Hi. A bit late in starting this morning, had a delightful chat with Maxine. So, there's so much to talk about. So here we are. I've just sketched this loosely, this mountainous scene with I put a bridge in by way of it being different. And maybe I'll put some pine trees in rather than just the usual evergreens, or the deciduous trees. So it's a completely made up one as usual. I like improvising. When I say improvise, sometimes I do use a bit of reference material from a painting that I've done or a photograph someone sent me, but I don't stick to it. It's just purely an aid memoir. Right, I'll just take off the moisture off the bottom of that. Palette is lemon yellow, raw sienna, alizarin crimson, light red, ultramarine, burnt umber, Payne's grey, and the burnt sienna, which I love. Now I've had this in the bag overnight, or since yesterday, and I squeezed out half a tube or a quarter of a tube of lemon yellow. Of course, being in the bag, it hasn't hardened, so I have to be careful with that. Right, I'll put in a wash of, well, this is a bit of alizarin and a bit of lemon yellow. I've got a little commission to do for a friend for the end of their garden, looking at the sunset, so I'm waiting for that to arrive by email, and I'll do that as a demonstration, because the trouble is with that sort of thing is that people know how they want them to look, and I don't do copies of anything, I just do an impression of it. I can't, it's not my thing. Right, I'll go with a bit of raw sienna now. Just to warm up the landscape. Right, I'll reclip the paper. It's quite dry today, although it has been raining a little bit. We've not had a lot of rain lately, and the weather has improved somewhat. We're going to spring. So let's put in some light cloud in that. I'll put a bit of blue in just to show a little bit of the sky poking through some clouds. Right, just the water's not actually running down the paper on my palette. I'll do, and I mix a bit of red, bit of alizarin maybe. Yeah, that's my grey for my clouds. A bit more red in mine just. So you want the clouds go behind the hills, otherwise it'll look a bit controversy. As if to say, well, there's a space there, I'll fill it with a cloud. It's a favourite trick of beginners, is that they do two trees and I'll put evenly spaced clouds in between, rather than have a cloud poking out from behind the tree. Right, let's put in the bluish background, really strong. No. And I'll mist that if I can, just put out a bit of water, but I'll have to go over the blue a little bit, and I'll put a bit of sienna in there. So that gives a bit of mist. But that's quite hard to do with this paper. I found you can wet it, but the wet makes an edge. Yeah. So I'll go over that with the blue again, and just drag it into that wet, and that might Right, that's probably a bit better. Right, so we'll have a bluey Payne's grey. Oh, this is some hairs at the hake. Got some warm in there. Dark bit there. My lemon yellow, warming up as we're coming into the foreground. I'm going to edge some of this out with the card. So I want to put some darks. It's no good etching out if the paper's too light. Right, let's get some nice lemon yellow in there and sienna. I'll go over that bridge, I nearly forgot that. Okay, so a bit of okay, we can come back to that. But I just want to put some nice greens in this landscape here. Now I've got this lemon yellow is really good because it's tube colour. Right, I can put rocks into that. Right, now I'm going to this nearer one here, so that wants to be quite warm. Catch a bit of light. And we'll come down with a bit of green. I can put trees on top of this. Get that over there. Bit of shadow. Mix a bit of a crimson in with that as well. Things are drying up here quite nicely, so you want to put lots of colours in your landscapes. I know I don't always, but you want variety, you want to avoid monotony. Got greens, nice lemon yellows coming down where the rocks are going to go. I'll paint dark there and etch out, but I want to put the greens in first. Okay, now I'm going to go mad with a card now. I'll just have a swig of my tea. So I'm going to highlight this with some darker trees. Right, okay, so let's put in some rocks coming down here, just sticking out as outcrops, but not too many here because we're going into the distance. Okay, so they're still taking a bit of scraping, that's good. But not too big because we're quite distant here, so that'll do that. I love doing it. Okay, so the same here. Now that's not so dark that it shows the I'll show more now with the dark. But I'm going to put trees in here anyway. But I want some of this to show as a rocky slope. Bigger. Okay, that'll do for the moment. We can put our darks in as trees now. So I'll go in now with the rocky stuff, but I want some lemon yellow in there as well. Some red in there. Now the darks. So burnt sienna in there with a bit of Payne's grey, I think. Why not? Bit of red. Excuse me. Blues, reds in here, put some nice green. All helps when I do the scraping for the rocks. Just some grass coming up here. Okay. Card. So the colours are showing. Remember you've got the three planes on the rocks. Light, not so light and dark for the shadow bits. There's some big ones here. Okay, got carried away there. Okay, now I can paint over those. Really give a good scrape some of these, get these highlights showing. Okay, so that's that. Now back over to this side now with the same rocks. So I'm using a lot of burnt sienna, ultramarine, bit of Payne's grey, a few hairs, don't want those. Get some nice warm in there. These are the rocks in the stream. Put those darks in for the shadows. Right, cards, rocks. So here we go. Let's take these out first. I will add the shadows back. Now, so there we have the basis of our rocky stream. All good fun. Right, now I'm going to use a smaller brush. I can find a smaller brush. I've got one here somewhere. excuse me while I go on the hunt. Ah, yes, we've got it. It's just a small sable mix. No, probably is not. It's probably 100% synthetic. Knowing me. Right, so just a grey. So a bit of burnt raw sienna with a bit of grey. Quite loosely mixed up. I'll keep the white margin. Hope my head's not in the way. A bit of sienna and red. So a bit of warm stone. Get the circle. Right, so the inside, the shadow is going to be under here. Right, we can put a shadow. Right, well okay, that'll do. I'll let that dry off a bit and I'll start to detail some of this now. Now I mentioned some pines, so we'll put some pines in. So blue, yellow, bit of red, bit of grey. Fairly dry brush. Bit more grey, bit more blue. Okay, so let's put in some pines up here. Where should we put them? You can use, I sometimes use an inch brush for this. Just a bit, it's a bit different. I'll put a bit of shadow in under these. Okay. Oh, it's come up here a bit. Okay, to put a bit of dark underneath that at the base. Otherwise, it'll look as if just, well, don't think it would look very good. So I should come down here. And a few just sticking up here. I don't know if this has improved it or what, but anyway. So we'll put a bit of harder, more traditional stuff in there. So I've just varied the type of wood there. Okay. Okay, so there we go. Let's put in some burnt sienna, blue, burnt sienna and lemon yellow. So let's put in some up here now. Bit more blue now. Okay. Now just a bit of texture in the in here. It's a sort of gorse heathery type of stuff. Call it stuff because then if you don't name things, you're not painting from stereotypical memories. The shadow in there. Put some texture on those rocks. The sienna, I think. No, I'm going to green. I'm just going to clean my mixing area up. Oops. Give my paper a good clean. Quite a bit of paint on there now. So I'll go back to cleanliness. Right, okay. Come down a bit too far with that there, I think. Just take out some of that. Oops. Right, okay. Right, okay. Just putting my clear margin back there. Now I want to do a bit of countryside back behind that bridge. I'll use the my little brush here. So a bit of darky, sort of greeny. Oh, excuse me. Right, I'll put my bit of rocky stuff in there. Right, that's the card going. Okay, so I need to wet the paper now. Try not to move the paint when you do this. Now there's a lot of colours in there which we really need to put in. It's dark in there. Dark. Because it's reflecting, might be fast flowing, but it's reflecting what's about. There's a bit of mist there. Now I've done that, I can, I'll put a bit of texture on that bridge, but I want to just do this here. So I've got a bit too far. Oh, just take something out there. Okay, not quite convincing, but right, okay. Now, a bit of burnt sienna, raw sienna, should I say. Just a little bit over some of these, just warm them up a bit. Burnt sienna. Bit of red. Right, let's that keystone in there. Okay, that doesn't too bad. Right, I'll just put a bit of, if I want that to show, I'm going to have to put something dark behind it, but I'll do it in bits. I'll just show a bit of green. So, Payne's grey, burnt sienna, and a bit of yellow. Too much water on the brush. So here we go. So let's just put in a bit of on the bridge here, just to highlight. Don't have to do much, but just I wanted it to show up a bit better than it does. Don't think that's too bad. Just some little bits of shrubby stuff around those rocks there. Make it look as if the rocks are actually coming out of the landscape. So let's that blue sky there. Should put some blue in, I suppose. But that's where we want the greens and the darker reflections in the water, because look, it's there. I've done this, made this mistake before. Forgetting there's a lot of dark in these rocks, the rocky streams, because you've got a bit of scraping, a bit of light. I'll dry that off, and I'll take some of it out with sandpaper just to show some sparkle. But we've got all those colours reflected in the water, so they've got to go in. Right, now I've not really shown that there's like a path, a road going over there, but didn't give it much of a thought, because. But it's just a general crossing, so let's lift it out a little bit. I'll use my inch brush here, bit of tissue. Oh, I've got to drink my tea. That needs to be darker in there. Right, I'll just etch out a bit of a path. And I can put a couple of figures coming down here. And then we'll come up here with okay, so that just gets a bit of an impression, doesn't it, of a well-worn path. Now I'll give this all a dry, so take your headphones off. Right, I'll darken under there. Okay, now with that brush I'm just going to do some just cover up some of that track again. Right, okay, so we do the same here. Right, I've sort of disguised that scraping out, mainly so I can put some figures in and you know it's a path. It's a bit of a bodge really. Right, let's put some figures in there. Then I'll sand out that and see what happens. So we have a red figure, red jacket anyway, high-vis jacket. Blue trousers. Probably that brush is just a bit too thick. Let's try that one. Okay, so they're walking down the hill. Stick, that's not showing up. Now I haven't got any light to counter change there, so I can't really do much, but unless I lift out, you don't want to do that. So let's find another bit here so we can have someone coming up here. I do. Oh, I know what I was going to do. I was going to do some sandpaper, wasn't I? This is very, very, very hard, or very coarse belt sanding stuff. So let's okay, that just about shows. It's really scratchy, baby. You can do it with a razor blade or a very, very sharp knife. Right, let's give it a signature and put some birds in to fill in the sky a little bit, and then we'll see what we've done. Right, we've got a lot of blue in it, so we'll put the blue mount around it. One for a Saturday morning. Well, there we are. We've got the pine trees. I should have used the 1-inch brush. Might have been better than that. We've got this. I've taken a lot of that out, but I'm not going to do any more to it than that. That is just a Highlands scene. It could be North Wales mountains. Or it could be anywhere really. Let's zoom in. Now, what I did with the bridge was to leave a margin of white around it. Not perfectly done by any means, but as a sort of an afterthought to the drawing that I originally did, but it looks okay. It looks lighter on the screen. I'm looking at my, oh no, that's better. Well, there are my figures coming down the hill. There are the pines, and we're going up the hill here, Pontypines. Right, there's the scraping, just the highlights, just to catch the sparkle of the light. And then we'll come across here to those rocks. Now, I love doing the rocks like this. I can't see the point in labouring at them. But if you want to spend the time to do your rocks, you do them how you like. This is just how I'm doing it. I think the painting probably is the colour's a little bit muddy. But then, hey, a blind person would be pleased to see it. Right, well I hope you enjoyed that. Leave comments, appreciate any input, anything you don't like or think I could do better. We don't mind constructive criticism at all. What we don't like is insults, which are not really necessary. Right, there we are, that's straight. There we are. So have a little look at that for a few seconds. I'm going to have some lunch. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed that. Thanks for watching. Bye bye.